just go over some WebEx details with you again, thinking about getting ready for distance learning and how I can help. I heard from a few of you that you'd really like to see uh, breakout sessions in action. So I'm going to try and show you some things I learned. And what I've done is I use these WebEx directions that were provided by the district, and they were really, really helpful. So I've included it in the email you're getting, and I did put this in last week's email too, but I really recommend you look at this. It's really helpful. And in it, it actually has a link that brings you to somewhere else that goes into detail about breakout sessions. So I'll do it a little bit because I know sometimes it helps to see it and then to be able to read about it too. All right, so I'm gonna go. Actually, I already started the session, but I think you understand that already. And what I did is I used this and I started the meeting. Okay, so right now it says return to the meeting because I've already started it. And this is my 4x4 WebEx address. So I just clicked on it and you saw it said copied. Then if I were you, I would put that somewhere in my school, on my Schoology page. That's really like probably pin it to the top somewhere. That is the link they're going to click on to join you. I think the hardest part, I'm thinking maybe, I'm not sure, but is you have to have each participant, you need to have them join, okay? So for each class that you're doing this with, depending on what platform we go with here, so let's say you're meeting third hour as a group, you have to know who's entering and allow them all in. Because if the web address is pinned on your Schoology, I don't know if a random student is going to pop in another class, but that's just something to be aware of. I mean, you can always expel them. So if you accidentally let in a student that's not supposed to be there, you can expel them. So, okay, so I started it, and then the link, I got my team here to be my students. And I shared my link with them and asked them to join. So I let them all in. They were all in my waiting room. And the reason why WebEx is chosen, and I know it's not all our favorites, but it's really nice. And what they're waiting for us to let them in, they can't talk to each other. So they're just in their own waiting room. And then once you let them in, then we're all together. Now, as you know, adults here, everyone came in muted. And then they all also have their pictures up. So your students won't necessarily come in muted unless you decide that you want them all muted upon entry. If you do that, then you have to unmute them. So that's just something to think about. And once you have your WebEx screen open, remember, these are all the tools for WebEx. And I really recommend just going in and looking and seeing all the things that are there because there's a lot of choices. If you go to participant, this is where you can decide about the muting. And if that's what you want to do. You can also assign privileges, and you'll see in the doc that I shared, one thing they ask you to do in participants is uncheck participant list. That way you can't see, the students can't all see who's in there. And then you just click assign, and then you're set. The next one is meeting. And this is where you can write your welcome message for students that are waiting in the waiting room. And then here are the breakout sessions. If you want to use them, there's a couple places. They're up here and it's down here. So if I click down here, this is where you can decide how many people are into how many different sessions, okay? So if I'm gonna say I want 2 different sessions. I only have 4 people, 2. You can automatically do it or manually. You decide. Manually is the default. And I'm gonna create the assignments. So now you can see I have these. Here are my participants and here are the breakout sessions. You can add another if you want from here. One thing you might want to do is rename it. So instead of just a generic breakout session, maybe up to you. Then here, so I'm gonna go back here, you can assign who do you want there. So let's say, you know what, I'm gonna put Jim and Jen in that one. Now, you don't have to do this ahead of time, or you can see I'm doing it when they're here. Or right at the spur of the moment, you can decide what you want to do. It's just up to you how you operate. And maybe you'll do it once one way and another time. Okay, so then I went in and I did that and I assigned, and now I do start breakout session. Oh, you know what? I want to do join later because I forgot one thing. Oh, it started. Because there is a way to go in settings here, and you can decide if you want to close it automatically or if you want to go in and close it. So this is just more things to think about in the settings. So you can see allow attendees to return to main meeting is already checked. Allow attendees to join breakout session later. So if you want to automatically stop it, now since I've already started it, I can't do it. But if you want to change these, you can go into settings and do that. Okay. Then you can continue on with your breakout sessions. And in here, if you want to share, maybe you have a Google slideshow or something that you want to share to specific kids, you can share. Again, you could record just this one if you wanted to. And then when you're ready to end everything, you just click end all breakout, okay, and return to the main meeting. Okay, and then we're all back again. So I know it probably seems overwhelming right now, but after you do this a few times, you guys will be giving me the PD on how to do all this. I hope that helps a little. I'm more than happy to, if you want to do like I said this last week, if you want to do a pretend one with me or with the team, if they can't right now, they're busy. So that's why I just have their pictures and they're muted. But if you want to do that with us, we could certainly try. So whatever you are interested in, please let me know. Also, I wanted to point out in this doc I'm sharing, there are student directions too. So like I said, I have been sharing things through Kelly that hopefully the kids are seeing. But if what I've learned is kind of the more times you share it, right? Maybe they'll see it one time. Who knows? We can all try. Okay. I hope that helps a little bit, you guys. Please let me know what else you need. Hi there, here is a quick video on how to share your screen on your MacBook. The next video will be how to share your screen on an iPad. Oops, sorry, I have a lot of things open right now. So here I am in WebEx, and at the bottom, you can see it says there's the share icon, and if I click that, I get lots of options on what I want to share. You could be ready with maybe you have a tab specifically you're going to share, or I just usually just share my screen because what I've learned is I kind of think that there's one thing I want to share, and then once I get talking, I start talking about a lot of different things. So here's what it looks like when you're sharing your screen. I'm going to get rid of this. You can see it has the orange and it says right here, sharing your screen. And then look at all of the options you have up here. While you're sharing, you can annotate, you can mark it up, you can do a chat, just lots of different options up here when you're sharing your screen. I'm going to stop and we're back. I hope that helps. And like I said, it always is really helpful just to go in and play around with it and see all the things it can do. Something I've just recently become aware of is that when some of you are trying to share your screen, it's the share icon is grayed out. So that means there's some setting that's not on that you need to change. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So if your share icon is grayed out, you need to go into System Preferences. So you're going to go up to the Apple and down to System Preferences. Then there's an icon in here called Privacy. It's called Security and Privacy. It's this house. And then if you go to the Privacy section, It's called screen recording right here. And your WebEx should be clicked. If it's not clicked, you're going to click it, and then you're going to get something that says a square that says assign or okay or something like that. And then you're going to have to exit out of the WebEx meeting you're in, close it, and then reopen it, and your share icon will be lit, and you'll be able to share your screen. So you can also share your screen on your iPad. If you noticed, I had that share icon. I was pointing to the share icon. And when you click that, then you'll see you have a whole menu of things that you can share, which is pretty handy. One of them is whiteboard. So you have the ability to just share a whiteboard and draw on it and talk at the same time. Also, you are able to go to different apps on your iPad. So if there's something, let's say, in Notability that you want to share, you can do that also on your iPad. So you can screen share on your MacBook during a WebEx or on your iPad during a WebEx. Hi again. I think this is my last one, unless I hear from you that you need something else. But there's two things I wanted to touch on, the chat option and virtual background option in WebEx. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of my Loom screen. Here I am in WebEx. My students have left, so it's just me. But if for chatting, what the district is asking, that if you're going to allow your students to chat with each other, that the window's open all the time and you're monitoring it. So in order to do that, all you do is you click chat, and there it is, it's open. I think you guys know that, but just in case. So there's the chat. Then there is a little thing called polling. So during a chat, if you wanted to ask a question to your students, and then they're going to answer it in a poll type of situation, you could click record individual responses. You type your question, and that's how they answer. There's more to it than that, but if you're interested in it, we can do that more. I just wanted you to see that that's there. So I'm going to clear. That's the chat, and that's chat and polling. Okay. Finally, it's the virtual background. I did a quick video that I sent to Kelly for the students. So the students know how to do this too. Because we all know when we're at home, we don't always want everybody to see what's going on behind us, and students especially feel that way. So at the bottom of your WebEx screen where it says stop video, and we all know if we click that, then you get whatever picture you put as a default. But over on the drop-down menu, you have change virtual background. And then you get a preview window. So I know a lot of people just do blur and blurs out their background. You know, if I put my hand up here, it's blurry. Okay, so you really can't see what's behind me. Let's say you want to go all in. You want to pretend this is where you're at. And when you find one you like, then you just click apply, and then there it is. On the iPad, it works the same way. There's also the kids, there are virtual backgrounds there too. So you can see it's not perfect. It's not a green screen, but at least it covers up what's behind you. Okay, so there's chatting, a little bit of polling just so it's there, and virtual background. Let me know what else you want and need.